if you want to show the greatness of your country to the world at large, you must first set the states in order. If you want to set the states in order, you must first regulate the families. If you want to regulate the families, you must first rectify your mind. If you want to rectify your mind, you must make the will sincere. If you want to make the will sincere, you must first extend your knowledge. If you want to extend your knowledge, you must investigate things. And when things are investigated, your knowledge is extended. When your knowledge is extended, your will becomes sincere. When the will becomes sincere, the mind is rectified, and the personal life is cultivated, and the families are regulated, and you can show the greatness of your country to the world at large. This is Confucius. This is called a great learning. It is the Bhagavad Gita from China. It is the responsibility of every mother or every father to see that there is meditation in every home. You create your own reality. The hell has been created by you. The heaven will be created only by you. Nobody else has created your reality. You are constantly creating your own reality by your own thoughts, words and deeds. How are your thoughts? How are your deeds? How are your words? What kind of thoughts are you releasing? What kind of words are you releasing? What kind of deeds are you performing? Three things: thoughts, words and deeds. Right thoughts, right words and right deeds is equal to heaven. Wrong thoughts, wrong words, wrong deeds is equal to hell. Why there is hell in every family? Because of all wrong thoughts. Because there is no meditation. There is no cultivation of personal life. Out of 24 hours, you must sit for 2 or 3 hours in meditation to cultivate your personal life. You are not excused from meditation. Krishna was a Raja. Buddha was a Raja. He left his palace to go into meditation. We have to stay in the palace and do meditation. We don't have to leave our palace. We only have to leave our stupidity, our laziness. And 2 hours, 3 hours every day, you must sit with closed eyes and observing the breathing and with some nice music, which is what Chandra is providing, which is what you are accessing. Then your whole personal life is cultivated. Your mind is rectified. Your will is sincere. You have extended your knowledge. And your families are happy. Every family should be happy. There should be no unhappiness in any family. Bhagavad Gita plus Ana-Pana-Sati plus Saivam. Vegetarianism. This is a simple formula we have discovered in PSSM.
Welcome everyone to the day 28, week 4 of 40-day nature program. I'm Richa, and I'll be your host for this week. A short intro about me. I am working in TCS and currently residing in New Jersey. My meditation practice started from one of these 40-day program, and have been practicing my breath mindfulness technique since past almost 3 years, and have been volunteering as a facilitator in the program. We are currently in the 4th week of the program, and last week we have learned about what is meditation, what is not meditation, and that meditation is a total cessation of restless thoughts in our mind. It's meditation is a being state, and meditation is not an intellectual process or contemplation or concentration, or it's not visualization. It's not any mind control technique. We also learned about how we can utilize pyramid energy to get into altered states of consciousness for healing purposes, for preservation. We have also learned about how vegetarian food habits affect our health, and society and also our environment. And we also looked into the Eightfold Path laid out by Buddha to lead a happy life, and also about the 4 states that we attain. We need to attain liberation from suffering when we reach the state of Buddhahood. And this week, today we will be learning, dwelling upon further on how meditation moves us from learning to being to doing, and will be facilitated by Chandra sir. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Risha madam. Great work that you are doing there. Happy morning, dear friends and masters. Wonderful afternoon, evening. Meditation plus Bhagavad Gita is equal to spiritual science wisdom plus Saivam vegetarianism is a formula. If we need greater thoughts in the family, then we need right knowledge, right understanding. And we want people to align to those common things. Alignment that Dr. Newton talked about, alignment in our body, in mind, and with the consciousness, which means our feeling center. A feeling center, keeping larger thing in perspective, not just to us. When these two are aligned with meditation, then naturally an agreement to take upon common wisdom that we learn, common higher wisdom. And vegetarianism is essential to bring back that alignment. How is it possible if you constantly trouble one sect of people or group when you're in alignment? How can alignment come? If you're troubling one side, other side you say, come and then let's do a common agreement to do stuff. Alignment cannot come. Alignment with nature cannot come. So that simple formula that we move to the vegetarian diets, have a regular practice of meditation, and then have this regular learning, will sure establish greater mind in every home. That's what Patriji is saying. Yesterday I learned of some kind of a manifestation for this. I mean, in the sense, we know that people who are, let's say, battling court cases, people who had real estate challenges that have been there for years and years, they don't get resolved, but they get resolved when you set an intent and come into meditation. I did a one-day program here, and then part of it, somebody who just walked up and then talking about the impossible becomes possible, right? So they talked about a land that they were trying to get partitioned for 20 years. First of all, land is in some third person name. Second, it's between two sisters. For whatever reason, one sister used a portion of it some time ago. So now you expect that they divide equally, means they will subtract what they've used in the past. But they said, oh, this is long ago. So now whatever is left, let's divide equally. So one of the sisters who used it, which didn't make sense for the other, so they don't agree. Third, it was under the position of somebody else. And so he's also saying, since in India, the rule is if you're there for more than 20 years on the land, I will also get a stake. So now he's also not agreeing. Fourth, this land is actually moved into, in India, it's common. Different farmers side by side. So by mistake, in the online record, it is moved into someone else's name, not even these people who are supposed to own it. Everything is a complication. They're in different people's names. The people who own them are not coming together and agreeing for 20 years. There's somebody else who has possessed the land, wants a stake in it. 20 years, how do you bring all them together? Like everybody sticks to the guns or whatever, but no solution. She came into meditation, she heard about intentions and visualization and manifestations, put them together, and started doing it. And then what she's telling is that from the day 10 onwards, people started calling. The one who was owning, there was one who thought he possessed, he's been in the land for a long time. He called and said, for some reason, his wife has called and said, for some reason, my husband is not interested. We are going off to another city for finding some work. You guys take care of it. So he left the land. This happened. A sister calls and says, I know we've been in the past wanting to divide equally what is left right now, but you guys decide whatever you think is right, just do it because it's anyway getting time. So let's just get through it. The one is they're not in their name, it's in somebody else's name in the government records. That also approached government for what they did something, and then that also automatically got resolved. Everything which did not get resolved for 20 years. And you think that it is seemingly impossible because then different people have different perspective here. 4 different parties here. There's government, there is one guy who was using it for the last 20 years. There are 2 sisters. Different perspective. It appears that it cannot come together, but they do. They come and just resolve themselves. They come into meditation. It's a perfect example of alignment. Alignment, it can be like this, where what is truthfully to be done is what is done. In this case, the truthful is that truth is that there are the 2 people who get that from their parents, and so rightfully they get that. If you want to do a societal truth, that's how it is, that they should get equally. And that's what ultimately happened. They resolve. If we have patience, and then we sit down and then meditate, and then we do not leave the work. Do not leave the work. 6 months later, you're working and saying, don't give yourself time and say 6 months is my time. Just keep doing it. And if you keep doing it, we've always seen something is changing, it is shifting in a way that you can least expect and imagine. Never did this master think that all of these people just leave it out and then just keep just give it up to them to decide a solution. Never did he even think about it. It's meditation and it is that wisdom. They are establishing great peace at home. And so then everything that Patriji said of Confucius has to happen. We make hell of heaven and heaven of hell. It's all in our hand, Milton. It's all in our hand. Hell of heaven and heaven of hell is done by us only, purely based on how we complicate things, based on how we judge things, and based on how we reject and not accept things, many things. And we don't have to do it. We are saying, sit down for meditation. If problem didn't get solved, sit down for 1 more hour meditation. Did not still get solved, 1 more hour of meditation. Big project, you're all coming together as a group. meditation, compulsory 30 days, 40 days meditation for them together, then the alignment will come. And we have to figure out how to get all people involved to sit for meditation. This is the formula for sure is in resolving any world conflict. And we just have to figure it out. How do you introduce this between two countries which are at war? If the mediator can bring them onto it in some way or the other, bring them together, they don't have to be in a room, but they can come together and meditate and then come to the discussion. This is going to happen. Before even discussions come, somebody is going to say, like the other here, the real estate case, the same thing. The guy who has occupied it for, or utilized it for lease for a long time, claimed a stake. They left it. Something like this will happen when two countries are at war because of resources. Ultimately, it's only about resources, or about power. So somebody is going to leave, or there'll be a solution. Here, some of us can pull these things up, bubble it up, because the events are there, the experience are there. If it works for 2 people or it works for 10 people, it should work for technically 2 countries. Alignment. When you're coming to the meditation, then this higher intelligence that orchestrating events, making a call and say what is right. It's happening, dear friends. One of our meditators, Jagan, they had this clubhouse or whatever, that apartment complex had some issue with the builder for ages. The developer who built it, for ages, nobody was able to resolve. Committee after committee is coming, not resolving. And he came in there, then he started seeking a spiritual solution rather than a material solution. So then he sat together. He sat for meditation. He started visualizing about it. In this case, when he's talking from that perspective to them, for whatever reason, within 30 days or 60 days, that issue got resolved from the builder. He agreed. We communicate in our astral plane, in the thought plane, energy plane. We communicate in energy plane. Physical plane resistance is there. In energy plane, who resists? They accept. It happens. We have to experiment, dear friends. When we have challenge communicating points across to people, we can do this process. You finish your meditation and then you communicate to them in your thought world. I wish that you are cooperating with me, turning, and you are appreciating, and you are whatever that is that you want to put your point across, do that. Write out. All our patience is here. We don't lose patience because there's no response back from that side, isn't it? So we can communicate the way we want. Let's go into meditation, dear friends. So learning, the process of learning is fascinating from neuroscience perspective. We knew a lot of concepts that we are doing today. We knew, it's not that we didn't know. Hey, treat people with respect, be compassionate, love and affection, these are the ones who are going to take you. Everything has been told to us from the childhood. But then we are not able to be. But when meditation comes, we are able to be. Let's understand some of these concepts scientifically, what happens into the brain. And so then with meditation, how this gets altered, all of this as a concept called learn to be concept post-meditation. Let's go into the meditation now, dear friends. Our goal of this meditation is to stay empty. When we empty the mind, then we are connecting into this infinitely potential quantum field of intelligence. The mind is a separator between a body and an energy field. When the mind is dropped and the form is dropped, then we're becoming one with the energy field. The goal of this meditation is to rest the mind sufficiently so that physical, emotional, all the benefit is there. And the goal of the meditation, most importantly, is to tune into the potentials in the quantum field. And so we do this by sitting, as you see in the picture, comfortably with your legs crossed, fingers into fingers, hands in your lap, eyes closed, observing your natural breath, taking a reference point anywhere on the nose and observing your breath, preferably at the middle of the eyebrows, observing your natural breath at that point, going in and coming out. And observe the breath slowly, mind becomes empty. And we experience emptiness, energy, many things there called meditative states. When you observe the breath, slowly mind becomes empty. Be in that state. At any given time, you have thoughts. Now, you know there are thoughts are there. Attention back to the breath. Again, observe the breath. Again, slowly go into empty states. And this is going to happen again and again. And your job is to, without opening your eyes, continue to bring your attention back to the breath and observe. And again, go into the empty states or energy states. Before we do this, we're doing a process called heart elevation. It helps us to go into the deeper states of meditation. Just follow my guidance for this, dear friends. Anyone new that joined today, can always go back to the recordings of this program from day 1, 2, 3, and understand a lot of subject around these techniques. So relax yourself, dear friends. Sit comfortably. With your eyes closed, specs removed. Relax your body. Your friends. With your specs removed, eyes closed, keep your hands on your chest area. Press your attention on your sacred heart. Can you feel your beautiful heart? Feel the seat of all emotions. Connect with your heart center, the center of all emotions, nurturing all life with its energies of love, compassion, appreciation. Feel it, dear friends, with a slow, long, relaxing breath. Connect with your heart center. Can you recollect an experience from your past, from your present or from the vision of your future, of enormous love, compassion, appreciation, and relive that moment, that experience, and feel that emotion, that vibration. Relive that moment and feel that energy, and allow yourself to direct that energy, that radiate that energy onto all corners of this planet Earth to help everybody heal, to help everybody see the truth that we are one, that we are the whole. Where your attention goes, there the energy flows. The more you experience love, compassion, appreciation, gratitude, the more aligned you become, the more coherent you become. And slowly, let's go into breath mindfulness meditation. With your fingers into fingers, hands comfortably rested in your lap. Observe your normal, natural in-breath and the out-breath. When you observe your breath, your mind becomes empty. As your mind is becoming empty, you experience greater emptiness, energy. Yourself, allow yourself to merge into your breath and allow yourself to merge into that emptiness where energy All emptiness is energy. The quantum field of energy, the field of all connection, the longer you stay aware of this emptiness, this field of energy, the more coherent you become with all things and everybody. We are less matter, more emptiness, more energy. Allow yourself to stay away from your body, away from your life. Merge into that breath, merge into the emptiness, that energy of no body, of no thing. How did you feel? Whenever you're ready, keep your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds and then you open your eyes. Okay, dear friends. Let me put up a few charts around this concept of how meditation is helping apply the knowledge from a neuroscience perspective. It's called learning, doing, and being. We learn anything first, then we start implementing at some point, and then eventually we move into that state of whatever that is. For example, cooking. We have to have a recipe, we have to read it 3-4 times. At first time, it is like, oh my God, so many items are there, so many things are there. This is how it feels like. Any menu, anything you take, any recipe. But you learn a few times, then you feel comfortable, you do it. But one time you do it, is it sufficient to remember it? That you can just, with your eyes closed, you can still cook that dish. We always used to wonder how our mothers are able to just go and then just take some salt like this and then pepper like this and chili powder like this and then put it in and it still comes out great. Because they went into the B state. They know exactly, because the body is already conditioned enough that they know by looking at various quantities how much to put. It's called B state. They don't have to measure. They don't have to do. They say, yeah, it'll be fine. This is all is required. There's learning initially, then we do it a few times. When I do it a few times, then it is sticking more strongly and well into the system, into the brain. And so then you go into the B state. That means you don't have to do it. It automatically happens. Being calm and cool. Initially, you have to practice it. We're angry with people at home, from small things to big things, or at work. But we need to practice that in some way or the other, so you understand that you can be calmer. And then for becoming calm, we practice a few times in many, many ways that people have. Okay, when there is some issue is happening, you walk away from there. When this is happening, have some stone in your hand and then touch it and then so be cool. But whatever that is, we have to learn, we have to practice enough times, and then you become of it. Meditation is coming in here. When you meditate, there is a certain part of the brain faculty is getting enhanced better, and so then it helps you to apply this knowledge greatly, timely. To pick up on newer responses. I want to stay cool. I learned 10 techniques. But when it comes to that issue, that wherever that is discussion happening, I'm not able to stay cool. I just go back to be my old self. So it takes more practice to become cool with the techniques that I'm learning. But when you add meditation, then it seems like it's helping to become cool much sooner than that you may have taken. Accelerate experiences. So let's understand this a little bit here. Learning, doing, being. This is very important because we talked about higher understanding. That means the knowledge that we're learning must stick, then we're able to utilize it appropriately. It's stick in the brain. And so then we have a better way to respond to situations. We have different understandings of different life situations at family, and more considerate to each other. So the brain is, there are a few things here that are recorded. Prefrontal cortex. Something, just the frontal cortex is this. This is our outer brain. In the outer brain, the frontal cortex is this. This is the forehead here, right? And the prefrontal cortex is something slightly behind. This is one area that's important. In applying knowledge, being able to put attention towards what we want versus getting distracted away from the attention by somewhere else. So the attention is by prefrontal cortex here, trying to put attention on things and then try to pull out related associated experiences and then respond. So it all starts with this prefrontal cortex, and then the frontal cortex, right front here, there is some area which is also making a decision of what way to respond. But attention is by this prefrontal cortex. Focus on current situation. And then if you adequately focus, then it reveals information to you. And then the frontal cortex out here will make a decision, say appropriate response. Then there's amygdala, which is emotional regulation. So emotional response is coming from here, which is also in the subconscious. This inside area, we call it subconscious brain, called limbic system, which contains amygdala, emotional center, hippocampus, memory center. Two things are there part of this. So the amygdala is responding very quickly. The emotional center, so emotional response is given based on the belief system stored in the hippocampus memory area, memory center, based on our beliefs, based on our judgments. They're all stored. So if I see a colleague who is generally challenging, then I might have a specific type of response because I stored in my brain anyway that, oh, my subconscious is programmed. This colleague is challenging. So I better be very alert right now. Right. So that alert response is suddenly coming because it's already comes out of a judgment we had about that colleague in our subconscious. And that is amygdala's thing. Amygdala is responding based on the judgment we have or the belief we have, and then responding pretty quickly. Emotionally, it is called a chemical brain. It is also then releasing chemicals for us to feel certain way. Alert, maybe a little fearful. I don't know what this guy is going to go do this time again. So that chemical is produced to make us experience that emotion in our body, and it's all happening fairly quickly. So to understand this a little bit, it's called amygdala hijack. There is enough of explanations around it. Basically, amygdala hijack is happening to move us into a stress mode. Stress mode means that emergency mode, fight or flight mode. So when there is a situation, and if our brain receives that information and then records it as not great for us, then it moves the body into a fight or flight mode. Fight or flight mode means stress mode. When you're in stress mode, then your responses are haywire. You're not able to concentrate, you're not able to make the right decision. That means your response is already done. You're not giving that cool response. If you want to be cool and calm and composed, even though somebody is there that you know are challenging to you, but you're not able to because this amygdala hijack is happening. Amygdala is that emotional center simply giving away chemical based on its old state. So in this case, here is an example that if somebody is coming fast down in your office pathway, and so then when you see this, then ear is hearing someone is shouting. Suppose somebody is shouting there. Then the frontal brain, the brain neocortex, the outer brain conscious mind is saying, don't worry, it's your boss only. That's okay, stay cool. Trying to rationalize and tell while looking at the visual response. Then say this boss is charging down quickly, whatever reason, he's charging down, that's all. Let's not associate anything more to it. He's just coming fast down. So then first he's shouting, hey, who is that? Is there anybody or something? Hey, who did this work? And it's coming down fast. Then I is also looking at it and then saying he's charging down. Then the frontal brain, the neocortex, which is the prefrontal cortex that I showed in the previous picture, is trying to focus on it and say, okay, wait a minute. So I want to see what is going on here. It's focusing. When you focus, it's coming forward. So you're trying to associate something around this memory or this event experience that's going to happen here now and say, is it dangerous, not dangerous? What is it? Now, how should I respond to it? That's the whole idea of this whole knowledge we learn, and then the frontal cortex and here trying to make a decision. But it needs to be given adequate time to decide, right? If managers come and breathe down our neck, it's so difficult to even make any decision. Tensed. So same thing here. That I is saying, hey, is charging down, just simply gives a response, and neutral response. There's no I is just simply giving a response. That's all. And then the conscious brain, the frontal cortex is trying to think, wait, I have to stay calm to think, what should I do? Let me pull out memory. But before, again, now, if there is a change in the rate at which this person is walking down, then he's saying, I is sending and saying, oh, it's coming very fast now. It is very fast. And then so another signal is sent. Now the decision, by now, the amygdala, which is emotional center, is waiting to go and then respond pretty quickly because it has past judgments about this. Oh, if my boss came running down, there's definitely a bad thing that is there in store for me. Because I must have messed up. So if there is something that happened in the past, you didn't have a good event and experience, and so then the amygdala is responding to the subconscious belief before necessarily giving adequate time to the frontal brain because it couldn't wait, because it senses that it's too dangerous for the body, and so it must respond and act because that's how the body is designed to move it into a emergency mode to protect itself. So it feels that it must protect itself because based on a past experience, with anybody charging down at you is not necessarily a good thing for you, like an animal, because they get generalized pretty quickly. An animal chasing means not safe. And so then a human, the biggest animal, is chasing down, you feel like it may not be safe for you. And so then it has to go into emergency mode, stressful mode. So amygdala took over into a stressful mode, which could be in this case alert, getting up, and then it could in this case, trying to go away from the situation, move away, or try to find another colleague so that you become like politicizing the issue, whatever that is. So the point here is that there is meditation when you have and meditation without meditation. So when there is signal coming without meditation, the response is either the prefrontal cortex owns it or amygdala owns it, and amygdala is owning it, which is the emotional center, subconscious, because it has sub-second responses pretty quickly is giving. And it has got its duty, and then it basically, the whole subconscious got the duty to move the body into the emergency mode in case it feels there is a threat there. So the prefrontal cortex, which can decide, which can focus and then give control to the frontal cortex, did not get it. So you don't have a conscious response. When you don't have meditation, then the frontal cortex is bypassed a lot of times. And so then you have unconscious reaction. When there is meditation, the amygdala, because what's meditation doing is that it is helping to disengage from the past. So it lightens the memory around these bosses charging down, people charging down in the hallways, lightens the memory of the past experiences. So then it doesn't have anything to feel threatened. And so then it sort of allows the prefrontal cortex to continue to think and respond. And so then it become a conscious response. So then if meditation is helping, so understanding this a little bit, the three brains, as we just spoke, the neocortex, the outer brain, the limbic brain, which contains this amygdala and all of that, hippocampus is the yellow color there. And then third brain, where for a moment we don't bother about it. But then these are the three brains: learning brain, doing brain, being brain. The third brain is the seat of subconscious, from where it is really where you become of a state, but it is being done at sufficient times by the subconscious mind, and then finally you become of it. So there's learning, doing, and being. So the first, anything that we learn, anything that sensory perceptions, and then we are reading, and then everything is run through the senses. And so we run into this conscious brain is coming into picture, is trying to associate memories from the past of various things, and then we learn there the point. And then it is, when you repeat it, it goes enough times repeated, it goes into subconscious as a program. We talked about it. Repetition makes it a program to subconscious. You do it. So now there is an aspect that to be understood here is that the brain, when it's learning, is learning as connections. What you see here is a neuron. This is a neuron here, as something which got like a star shape. There's another neuron. So there are a whole bunch of neurons in the brain called brain cells. Now, everywhere, it's also called the gray matter. Everywhere these brain cells are the neurons and the neural connections, all together called gray matter. So neurons are there, and neuron connects to another neuron, And how many connections can make? It can make up to 100,000 connections from neuron to neuron. They're tiny, tiny, tiny. To understand, the brain has how many? A billion, 100 billion neurons. Let's talk about 60 to 80 to 100. Simplify, 100 billion neurons. That means that's a huge number. So they're so tiny. But each tiny thing, still very fascinating, can make up to 100,000 connections with another neuron. And every time connections are formed, it's memory. When connections are formed, it's called memory. That means you remember some information there. So that's why it's called cells that fire together, wire together. So when you are learning something, a bunch of cells come together. Basically, brain allocates some area where it says, okay, now this can be stored here. So all those neurons come together, they fire, and the information is stored there. When you have an experience, that experience is stored in various parts of the brain, which is vision experience, if it is auditory experience, if it is sensory experience. So then different parts of the brain come together and then record it, and they all come together. These connections are sort of making it all into one. So many intelligent things happen behind. Cells that fire together, wire together. So first of all, brain has got a whole bunch of neurons at a fairly big number. And then it makes so many connections, so fairly big number, 100 trillion connections. Each neuron basically is able to store lots of data. So much data is stored. That means the brain has so much capacity to utilize to store information, but it's learning certain way. It's learning certain way. Now, there are two aspects. If our subconscious is responding quickly, if there is a way to put stuff into the subconscious, whatever that I want to respond differently, the only thing new before is that my boss is charging down, so I must take care of myself, so I must have protection. So there is a different response. Now, a new response is, it is okay, let's be cool, let's not try to shout at it, try to have our own response. Let's be calm and then see what he or she is going to say this time. And it's a new response, because we're only judging based on the past. For all you know, they have a different challenge this time. And so the new response should be implemented. And so if that response, that understanding can go into the subconscious, then it is great. So then is there a way I can make it in the subconscious? So here we're trying to understand how the brain is learning so that I can accelerate learning in the subconscious. Okay. The second element, is there a way I can have my prefrontal cortex give more time for it so that then it acts and then decides appropriately, it sends the right signal. Okay. So for these to happen, we're understanding the science of brain, of how it's learning. So first of all, it has unlimited amount of memory. Second, cells that fire, whenever we're learning something, automatically cells come together and they make connection. Now, how many connections? Oh, so much connection. So many ways you can learn. So we can freely use the brain in as much as possible if you want to, because it's got so much memory to use. Now, there are a few things here that I talked about. Let me go to this next slide. So let's say we are learning something called apple is red. Now, learning is new connection. I said this, apple is red means suddenly a set of connections get formed. Let's say in this case, 1,000 connections get formed. There are various parts of the brain come together because all I learned is apple is red. Teacher told me apple is red. Okay, so you remember this. So minimum 1,000 connections get formed. Now, if apple is red is visual, actually she shows a picture, right? Then suddenly to store this apple is red information, then we use 1 million connections. It's called pixels, right? Now we know this pixels in computer. So same way, to store the whole picture and then associate a meaning called apple is red, and so red is like this and it is shape, it takes, let's say, 1 million connections. Now, the same thing, if it is learned through a movie and a small 1-minute visual talking about apple is red. Now they're showing the tree. Now somebody is going there. Now they're showing a whole bunch of the tree full of apples, red and shiny, big and small. And then the camera turns around 360 degrees and makes it mouth-watering, and then somebody takes the apple and then also bites it and says, this is tasty, sweet. Now, all of that is shown, and then it says this apple is red in color, is very tasty, whatever. Now, when they give that, and it's through a visual, so there's a lot of feeling associated, the experience is there. And so the brain now is potentially storing the same information in 1 billion connections. But not only just connection, now different parts of the brain came together working for the feeling center, the visual center, the memory, auditory center, because there is also some kind of a sound that comes when somebody is biting the apple. So all of that is stored. Different parts of the brain come together, store an experience, and richly with so many connections. Now brain is regenerating itself, so cells are always dying. So when we store in less number of connections and the cells die, if apple is red, and if a few connections go away, because cells die and the new cells come. When the cells die, apple is red, and if D is gone, or R is gone, apple is dash ED, I don't know what the color is now, because cells died and R is gone. The memory is disappearing pretty quickly when cells die, and then you have less connection. Now your apple is red, visually is there. Imagine a small portion at the bottom is disappeared as cells died, memory. But then everything else, because your brain can construct and say, oh, entire apple is there, small part is cut, oh, still apple. You can recollect and then tell that, associate the meaning. If it is feeling, and then so even when 1 million connections, some connections disappear, you still can make out the apple is red, because remember, you want to see it and say, yeah, this is apple, this is red. The same thing when you have a movie, there are a lot many things out there, dear friends, feeling center, then the feeling center is deeply recording it. There's a lot many connections. And so feelings are deeply there. And then where is the feeling center? That's in amygdala, that is in subconscious. And so you're automatically activating a lot of meaning and association, and then it is going into the subconscious to remember for a long time. It's good to learn what we're learning. It's good to learn through visual, through feelings and experiences, memory. So we try to utilize, and it is good to repeat it again and again. Now, cells that fire together, wire together. So when you repeat it, whatever that we learn, if you repeat a second time, at a third time, at a fourth time, now connections are becoming more and more and more. The more they are, that goes into the long-term memory, into the amygdala. So the more you repeat, the more it becomes the subconscious program. So one is by repetition, another is by visual learning. Why are we giving importance to live learning? Is because live learning, many people are here, we're talking, there is an action going on here, and then people are saying this and that, so you got a lot more context. It's more experiential. Watching a TV is more one-sided, okay? The feeling is gone because there's no person. When people are there, there is a more emotion, there's more learning, more experiential. We know it, you agree to this. It's never the same watching on YouTube versus being in a live session. Physically coming together, it's a lot more different, intense amount of learning. That's why I encourage people to go to retreats and then go to the physical places and come together. The learning is enormously there, and so much, lot more feeling. And then same concept, that five-finger concept, they're showing, and then action, drama, and people responding is remembered deeply compared to simply learned on YouTube. So the goal is to store stuff into the subconscious as much as possible, and it happens through repetition, it happens through visual learning. That means more and more physical interactions are the highest amount of learning, right? And so having understood this, and if you now put it all together, we're going to conclude this. You knew one way of dealing with the situations that people at office, the challenging people. You have one way. The old way is always about protecting yourself, being defensive, saying about a few things readily before they open their mouth. They always jump the gun, isn't it? When somebody says, and at home, hey, who cooked this food? The first thing answer is it not good? Oh, the cook made it. And somewhere trying to protect already, being defensive. The question is, who cooked the food? And the answer is, it's not tasty, or I didn't make it. Or, by default, somebody else made it. We don't even know what the answer here. I mean, the question is simply who cooked the food. The defensive mechanism. So if that is the only thing we knew, but then let's say we are learning through these programs that whenever there are arguments, whenever somebody is very hot, angry, stay cool, just stay quiet, let them say what they want to say, stay quiet, and then you can always have an opportunity to go back and speak to them at a different time. And so then you can simply stay quiet to take it, because just because they said something, you don't become. You can always have an opportunity to go back and explain, and things get diffused. And so stay quiet. But the staying quiet with meditation, when you learn it, I mean, I learned it once, then my friends also shared the information. I have this great information is coming. I think I know how to become cool. I learned a second time. The friend is also applied a third time. So it becomes a deeper memory for you. If you repeat the stories with people, it becomes deeper and deeper. The knowledge is there. Now, next time the situation happens, the knowledge can come to your rescue as a repeating. But when you have meditation is making the prefrontal cortex region to be stronger. And so it helping it to act, hold the attention for longer. And so then it is suddenly, as the meditative mind is there, awareness is there, suddenly it brings up a spark. Every time I'm losing out, becoming stiff with my boss, but this time, let me be easy here. That response, the spark comes from the brain somewhere, because meditation brings that awareness and it makes the prefrontal cortex to be a lot more in control. And so the spark comes, rather than giving a stiff response, now you give a cool, relaxed response. And says, you know what, your friend told a story, you learned this great thing, so why don't you apply it today? It's okay. And bring that spark. The moment that spark comes, and suddenly all the aspects of the brain come up, everything associated with that memory of how to be cool in this case, how not to say what not to say, all of that, the whole lesson comes alive in your memory. And so then automatically then you start taking a cool response this time, not an aggressive response. First time you do it is a meditation which is giving you the spark. Meditation is helping us to create a lot of neural glue so that we learn faster. A lot of times stressful, no neural growth, you can't learn. So you try to learn, but you can't learn. Meditation helps you to learn. Meditation makes you receiving, so you can relearn it again and again without getting bored, without coming to conclusion that I've already learned it. And then meditation keeps that awareness during a tough situation, and then bring that spark. Suddenly the spark comes somewhere, because prefrontal cortex got that extra time. That area is stronger, it's got extra time. So it's suddenly pulling out memory from somewhere, saying that, hey, there is a cool response also you can give that is helping. So you do it once and it sticks well. Now you have a new response. It goes into the subconscious. You feel good. You stayed calm. Things happened well. Is it sufficient? Do it once? No. A second time, a boss, again, another situation happens like this. You do it a second time and a third time. And then from learning stage, we suddenly become into the doing to being, dear friends. And so now you start becoming a cool person. And a few times with meditative spark, we pick that up very quickly and become a cool person because that awareness is there. We also put it into sufficiently into the subconscious, for subconscious to start taking it as a new response. And so when you do it a few times, it is deeply then subconscious. So then it automatically becomes your nature to become cool. And when it becomes your nature, then you are automatically embracing, you're remitting that to everybody around. So everybody around has to take that from you, because you are by default are very cool in nature. So the people around you also become calm and cool. They have to. The vibration is there with them. You allow others to have what you have. If we have peace of mind, others will have peace of mind. You allow what you have, others to have what you have. So, dear friends, this concept of learning and doing being is fascinating to understand that number one, a regular meditation helps us to bring that awareness to apply the knowledge. Number two, meditation helps us to receive. It subdues our analytical mind, so we receive more, we learn more. And repetition, it's okay, no problem. I'm patiently waiting here and then listen to it because the repetition makes it stronger. Meditation helps us to try new things. Oh, apple is red. Oh, I learned it as childhood. No, now you say somebody said a great new video about how to show apple is red. You'll go curious and then go and then learn it new ways. So it provides all those fundamental elements of learning and then recollecting it in time. And so then we become a better person, newer person, apply the knowledge. Learning, doing, being. We call human being. The Dr. Lakshmi was talking about this. We're called human being. We must go into the be state of various qualities that who we are. Human being in the be state of who we truly are as consciousness, that love, that compassion, that peace, that coolness, all of that stuff. So thank you very much for listening to this important concept so that we then choose the right option to learn. We become more, take right decisions to learn, and it helps us. When you know why we are doing what we are doing, the next time when there is an important physical program near your home, you will go there. You will not take the easy road, which is subconscious response to sit at home and say, anyway, YouTube is coming, so let me just press the YouTube button and then attend to it. Even though it's right there, 2 hours it takes, but you will take that extra time, go there and then learn physically right there, intense amount of learning compared to taking a YouTube option. Thank you. Any announcements, Richa?
Yes, sir. We have 2 announcements today. The first one is related to the Blue Book Club. Mondays, we have Biology of Belief book that will be covered in 2 batches. The first batch is in the morning, 8:15 to 9:15 a.m. IST, and the batch 2 is in the evening, 8 to 9 p.m. The second is related to the practitioner certification. All those participants who have registered for the practitioner certificate will be receiving quiz 4. Please take some time and attend the same once you receive. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Richa. Thank you, friends. So we'll see you all tomorrow again, but we'll interact for a little while. Mr. Srinivas raised hand. We'll take that after the short break. Have a wonderful day.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am stronger every moment, every day.
Srinivas, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, first of all, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for all the knowledge sessions plus meditation. And it is very, very helpful. And it enhanced my meditation. I'm doing meditation for more than 30 years, one or the other way, from my almost teenage. But this is really enhanced my meditation practice. And it's very good, the knowledge sessions plus meditation. And my question is, do we have any retreats coming in the United States?
There is a mega meditation camp coming up from PSSM in end of August. It's a 2 or 3 day program. A lot of meditation happens, so that is there in Raleigh. But Buddha Seva retreat, not scheduled yet. I'm visiting, there's a possibility to visit a second time this year later in the second half, sometime into maybe November time frame. There could be a retreat that time. Yeah, but certainly it'll happen. One, it'll be there in Feb, March next year. But the closest retreat one I know is not retreat really, it's a mega meditation function where multiple speakers come together for group meditations with a lot of people. 2,000 plus people are expected to attend this program in Raleigh. Okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Probably I might see you there. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. If Kiran Goel, ma'am.
Yeah, namaste, sir. Sir, I have two questions. The first is like I have heard from few masters that we should not use word no and not because universe doesn't understand the word no. Like if I say I will not go there, so you will have to go there for some day because no word doesn't exist in universe. So what is your say in this? Because while chanting affirmations, I sometimes speak like no word in my affirmation. So should I do that or not? And the second question is that you were talking about Vipassana few days back. So is this the same Vipassana which S.N. Goenka ji taught in Vipassana meditation?
Okay. No, not, cannot are generally definitely good to avoid where you can. Right? No, not, cannot, should not. All these words can disappear. Sorry. Okay, bad luck. Many words are there. They can disappear. You can rephrase it. I don't want to come. Let me think over. Maybe future. If friend somebody asks and say, hey, can you come over? I don't want to come. Versus and say, maybe in future. Right now I've got something else. There are many ways to rephrase it. It's good to, it depends on the context when you're using. Okay. Depends on the context, where your emphasis is.
So like I'm not sick. I'm not ill. So is it wrong to say?
I'm not sick. Now, if you're affirming I'm not sick, there is the assumption of sickness is there. Instead, I would say my body is resting. I mean, you are, my body is healthy. You can say that rather than saying I'm not sick.
Okay.
My body is healthy. I'm active. You don't have to say I'm not sick. Now, sick, the moment you're putting sick, that means there is something called sickness and you have a meaning for the sickness associated, and you're sending some kind of signal about sickness here, that there is a possibility you can have that into the body, right? So I'm not sick. So there is an association of energy going on in the word sick, which has a lot of meaning for you, what it means, right? Something is not working right. So all of that can potentially go as a signal into the field. And so it's good to utilize the words that do not give that meaning anymore. That's the idea, right? I'm healthy, I'm active, I'm energetic.
Okay, sir.
Sick leave, that's why we say resting. And saying, oh, what are you doing? So I'm sick, and so at home you say instead I'm sick, okay, sick leave, rest leave. Or many other words you can use. Okay. I'm sick and resting. So my body needs rest and so resting. Say it. And I say I'm sick. then you are, if you mean it, again, so these are the words, but if you mean it, I'm sick, and then when somebody is using the sick and then saying I'm sick, and if you mean it, that means you are sort of sending the same signal and saying I'm sick. You're telling the body I'm sick. And so it is saying, okay, my master wants me to be for the sick. Okay.
Okay, sir.
What's the second one? Vipassana.
Yeah,
Vipassana.
yes.
Yeah, the technique is the same to begin with. Observing our in-breath and out-breath. The technique is the same to begin with. But subsequently, what you do with it is where the difference is. You observe the breath, in-breath and out-breath, then there are a bunch of things happening. Many things happen. Dr. Newton was trying to say this yesterday. You're trying to go beyond the 5 elements first. Then you go beyond the manas. Then there is the feelings that you go beyond it. They're all there. You observe. Many things happen in meditation. You observe this, all of them. Then you go beyond to see vipassana, which is seeing of the past and future. Now, in our meditation, we say observe all experiences, but go beyond. As you observe them, you'll go beyond to the vipassana. Vipassana is true seeing of the past, future, present, all of that, tuning into the infinite potential field. But as I understand, in some of the other practices where they sort of stop you or rather not encourage the vipassana aspect of it. Instead, you're only being asked to observe the sensations of the body, the feeling center, and then dissolve it. That has its own great benefit, but the true, real, wonderful benefit of meditation is to be able to tune into the potentials of the field. And if that's not encouraged, then a big part of meditation is not used for transformation. Okay. So there is that difference.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Tanuja, ma'am, please.
Namaste and happy morning to everyone. So this is Tanuja. I'm working as a technical delivery manager in an IT company. I knew meditation only as part of my yoga, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes I used to do. But recently I got associated with Savita Reddy, where I did 21 days of meditation, and I'm in love with it, and I saw a lot of transformation, and now my days are looking very linear, and I have clarity in my thoughts, and a lot many experiences and transformations. So I wanted to propagate this to my circle. So day before yesterday, I conducted a small 10-minute meditation session for the kids of my apartment. So it was a wonderful experience, and even the kid responded so well, and it was amazing to see their experiences. So my question is, how long can the kids do the meditation? Like they are within 10 to 12 years age, ranging from 5.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Amazing job. Savita Reddy shared a video yesterday. Is it the kids' meditation? Did you do that? Did you do that?
Yes.
Okay. That's an amazing set of experience these kids had.
Yeah, even I was surprised.
And that's all in 10 minutes.
Yes, 10 minutes.
They
Did not know ABCD of it. I just tried it. It was I couldn't stop myself to share with others. I did not dare to share with elders because I did not have an organized structure. I have not done that organizing the syllabus or something like that. So I thought I'll go with the kids. But then within 10 minutes, from nowhere, he started telling I was flying in the air and all those things. So it was very amazing.
Tomorrow, let's play that video here. As soon as the session is towards the end of the experience.
Sure.
I sure wanted everyone to see this, and we'll have more people will play that. They're so
Yeah.
pure, so much empty of their minds, and then so they let things happen, right?
Yeah, because we had not even spoke about it. Just that was the first time we interacted about the meditation and all the amazing experiences. I was totally surprised.
You just asked them to sit down, and then they sat down, and that's it. So they started having these experiences.
Yeah, one day before I said, I'm conducting this. If parents are interested, please send. They said, okay, we'll fix the timings. Just say, and they came. I explained. First of all, I asked them what are the problems they are facing in their studies and all those things. They started telling all their problems. They feel sleepy when they open their book, that these and all these, they started telling. I gave them a little context about meditation and why we are doing all those things. And then they started.
Hmm.
I was even like, they're very cranky kids. So I thought even 10 minutes they will not sit. Someone might disturb in between, but no one disturbed. They, in fact, they said, Auntie, please do it every day. I said, no, we'll do it on every Saturday, I've told.
They only need to meditate for a short time. 10
Yeah.
years, 10-year-old, 10 minutes.
Mm.
So it's really about 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes. Have a 10-minute meditation is good enough for them.
Yeah, yeah.
10-year-old, 15-year-old, 15 minutes. So young kids,
Mhm.
so 15 minutes and less is sufficient.
Okay. My daughter is 8 years. She actually did around half an hour last week with Savita Reddy. We had one session.
Do any amount of meditation. They can do any meditation, but the minimum you ask, so 10, 15 minutes is good enough. If you're trying to put that into a school regime or anywhere, 10
Mhm.
minutes, and we don't have to force them to sit beyond it.
Yeah,
But if
yeah,
they're sitting by themselves, let them sit for hours.
yeah. She did actually. She was seeing me doing, right? So
Yeah.
she was doing with me sometimes, and that day she did have for half an hour, and she was like all wiggling the head and going back, coming up, and all those things was happening.
Yes, Apurva's daughter is there. She'll sit like hours. Some of them. Some of the
Yeah,
kids just sit down and they don't get up at all. I forget, but many of them I've seen. Many of Buddha was children like that.
yeah,
Okay, that's great. So really, really, really nice, madam. And I saw that video, which we'll play tomorrow. All right,
yeah,
tomorrow. Anyway, tomorrow is Tuesday, experience sharing. So that time we will play that. Okay.
yeah,
We'll-
yeah. Sure. But the 21-day session which Savita Reddy took was really amazing. So actually, the experiences we used to share, everyone used to connect with all the experiences, and it was truly, truly transformational. I cannot explain in the words.
Yes, madam. Savita Reddy madam is doing great. So much she's studying and teaching and everything she's doing.
In fact, last Tuesday I met her, had 2 hours of conversation, and then I came back.
Wonderful. You're in Bangalore?
Yeah, Bangalore.
Okay.
I stay in Bommanalli, Pudichiknalli.
Where an SSR layout with us a foundation office.
Yeah, she told that we'll go to your office once. So,
Yes. Yes, please come with her.
yeah. When are you in Bangalore? So you're in Bangalore now?
After second, I'll be there. 2nd to 10th, I'll be there.
Okay, sure. I'll plan.
Third to 10th. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Yes, Apurva.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir. So as I've listened to her, it was wonderful, amazing seeing kids doing this meditation. So I just wanted to say, like my daughter Parmita and Vicky, they are both planning to do kids meditation program starting from next week. So hopefully they will decide their timing. So I encourage all the kids, if it is possible, to please to join their sessions. We'll share the details. Yes, sir.
Awesome. That's great. Is anyone overseeing it so that it happens timely? If we are taking it to more people, then we just have to ensure that it happens on time every day, and then there is somebody or the other, all that is taken care.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They have been doing from past 2 years. So yeah, they are pretty good in organizing, and yeah, we'll do it regularly, sir. That's the plan.
Okay, done. So then let's send it to more people then. If we have a flyer, make it. We'll make an attempt, an experiment to see.
Yes. These group isn't from their age group, so they'll be motivated and more interested.
Let's
That's all.
pull in Aditi also. Is she there in the team? Don't know.
Be including her too, if yeah, she is comfortable with the timings and all. So we are looking for her.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, dear friends. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and pure and free, as I continue walking in this mystery. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am grateful every moment, every day. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way.
Thank you all for joining. We will meet again tomorrow at the same time, 6 a.m. IST.
And now I